Hi, I'm Mary Rose and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Warcross by Marie Lu. Warcross takes place in a world where the Neuralink, which is a virtual reality or augmented reality technology, has kind of wormed its way into everything. And the biggest thing is Warcross, a virtual reality sport. Our main character, Amika Chen, is a hacker and a bounty hunter, and she attempts to hack into the Warcross tournament opening games. And she gets caught, but instead of getting arrested, she is invited by the CEO of the company that runs the Neuralink to come to Japan, where its headquarters is, because there is a serious problem with the game and the CEO needs her help. All I remember about the first time I read this book was that it was my freshman year of high school, and I was so mad at the ending, which I will get into. This is not a spoiler for your review, I should say that. But I was so mad at the ending because the second book in the duo was still months away from coming out, and I was just sitting there wanting to know what happened next. Marie Lu is really good at world building in all of her books that I have read, in my opinion, but in Warcross it's particularly interesting how she goes about world building because the Neuralink is so heavily integrated into society, so you really have to kind of take a step back and decide how certain things work, like advertising, or how it's displayed on like the sides of buildings, or how its version of the dark web functions, and basically just how people use it to make money. And I think all of that is done in a really casual, natural way. It's not really being thrown in your face, and I think it would be very easy to screw that up in this case, but I think that it's done really, really well. So much of this book has the pacing and energy of an action movie, which I think can be kind of hard to do, well, that is, but this book does a great job of using that, especially as the story progresses and things start to get a little stickier in terms of what Amika is doing and what Hideo is asking her to do or revealing to her. Another one of the strongest points of this book is the side characters. I really enjoy them and how they were able to complicate the story a little bit, even if it was a little bit obvious in hindsight. But the side characters are also really good at adding a little bit of heart to the story, which is a nice change of pace from the high stakes action that takes up most of the rest of it. Warcross as a concept is so interesting to me, and I really appreciate the amount of thought that was put into it, whether it's the game itself, like the power-ups and the maps and how gameplay feels, because it is virtual reality. But I also appreciate the thought into how it kind of bleeds into the real world, with the tournaments and with amateur players versus professional players. It feels like any real video game that could exist, and I think that's really cool. With that, there is a lot of emphasis on the accessibility and international appeal of Warcross, because it's virtual reality based. As a player, you can communicate with other players who might not speak the same language as you, or you can compete in a virtual reality sport if you're physically disabled and not necessarily able to compete in traditional sports in the same way. These two things are mentioned a lot throughout the book, which kind of ties back into how Warcross is able to have such a massive impact on the society that it exists in. I will be honest, there is one thing about this book that I do not like, and it's the romance. It's not necessarily a chemistry issue, and I understand why it's there, what purpose it serves throughout the story. I just don't like it. I don't know what it is, which is unfortunate because I really did want to like it going in, but it just doesn't do it for me for some reason. So like I said at the beginning, this is not a spoiler for your review. If you are concerned about that, be prepared to click away because I am going to talk about one of the big plot twists at the very end of the book. So you've been warned. Going off of that, the idea behind the Neuralink and why Hideo invented it in the first place is so unnerving, and kind of sad, honestly, but like very ethically ambiguous idea there. It really delves into the idea of free will versus preventing crime and other horrible things from happening, and like how do you do that, even if you like should do that? Is that something that you should even have the power to do? And what happens when someone decides that they have that power now? Obviously, this is expanded upon in the second book. That's the conflict that starts the second book off. But like, what a cliffhanger! Really, what a cliffhanger! It was agonizing when I first read this book because like I said, the second one wasn't out yet, and so I just had to live with that cliffhanger. Lastly, I would 100% be down for a series of books or comics or something that follows a regular season of Warcross, because I really like its setup and I would love to see how this tournament and the world itself operate on a regular basis. I just think it's so engaging and there was so much thought put into it that I would love to see more. So those were my thoughts on Warcross by Marie Lu. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can give it a little thumbs up down below. And if you want to see more of my videos, you can hit the subscribe button down there as well. I will link some of my videos in the description and at the end of this video if you missed them. Also in the description will be my Twitter and TikTok if you want to check me out there. Feel free to do so. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. It really means a lot, and I will see you next time.